Wiz Nation. What's going on, Mystics Nation? And welcome to another episode of DC Hoopla. And I'm your main man, K. Jose. And today is going to be a preview of the Wiz playing against OKC. But I'm also going to touch on their last victory against the Orlando Magic. But before we even get started, let me give shout out to my man D-Can. Follow him at Wizards Mafia. You can look for him on Twitter, IG, and subscribe to his Wiz Takes channel. That's also on Patreon and on Spotify. Follow me at DC Hoopla. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on YouTube. Well, I said YouTube already. But follow me also on Twitter. Follow me on IG under DC Hoopla. And you can find myself and Wiz Takes on State of the Wizards. Like, share, and subscribe. So if this is your first time, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. So let's get started. So the Wiz escaped Orlando on Sunday with a 102-100 victory. Very ugly game. A game that I felt we shouldn't have won. Neither team really did anything to try to blow each other away. You know, you just basically had two bad basketball teams playing against each other. You know, the Orlando Magic shot 40% throughout the game. So did we. The Magic shot 32% from downtown. We shot 37%. We just only made two more three-pointers than they did. We went to the line more than they did, 19 for 24, but we finished out at 79%. They finished out at 93%. We had, as a team, had a total of 12 turnovers. They had a total of 7 turnovers. But what helped us to win that game was the fact that we dominated the boards. We had 54 rebounds to their 42. Kyle Kuzma puts up 27 and 22 in that game. KCP contributed to 14. Gafford gave us 12. Bill gave us 20 and 7. And Spencer Dinwiddie gave us 8 and 10. So getting 17 assists from your backcourt is solid. But if you really look at it, nobody didn't do anything spectacular. Lucky for us, Terrence Ross, who's a Wizard killer, no matter whether he's wearing a Toronto Raptors jersey or an Orlando Magic jersey, didn't beat us. But he put up 32 points, shooting 13 for 20 from the field, and he shot 2 for 4 from downtown. So we managed to escape this game. Cole Anthony had 12 points. And Fran Wagner, Mo Wagner's brother, who's a rookie, he had 16 points and 6 rebounds. But my main man, Rui Hachimura, made his season debut, and he finished with 6 and 3. And I'll talk a little bit more about Rui Hachimura a little bit later when it pertains to the whole Jeremy Grant to DC narrative that's been thrown around for a while. So we managed to escape that game. And I've come to realize with these teams that we're playing that are not good, we're just as bad as they are. Because tonight we're playing against OKC. And the last time we met OKC, which was back on November the 24th, we at that time had an 11-7 record at that time. But let's go over what type of team they are. Well, first off, they allow 107.3 points, which is 12th in the league, but they're dead last in points per average. They only average 99.6 points a game. And when we played OKC, we beat them, but we barely beat them too, because we only beat them by 2 points. The score was 101-99. So even against a team like OKC, it doesn't really tell you that we should blow them away because we barely beat them too. They're 13th in turnovers. I'm sorry, correction. They're 11th in turnovers. They're dead last in 3-point percentage at 30.8% from the field. We're not a good 3-point shooting team, so expect both teams to shoot horribly tonight from downtown. But they're sixth in the league in rebounding, where they're averaging 46.1 boards a game. Our rebounds have actually taken a drop since then. But when we played against OKC the last time, as a team, we shot 48% from the field. The Thunder had shot 40% from the field. Now, both teams didn't shoot lights out from downtown. We only finished out with 34.5%. They finished out with 33.3%. We went to the free throw line and we made all of our 3 free throws 15-15. We only out rebounded them by 2. We had 43 rebounds to their 41. They out assist us. They had 23 assists. We only had 7 assists. We turned the ball over more than they did because we finished out with 15 and they finished out with 9. But because of the fact that we shot so well from the field as a team, that was the reason why we won. And in that particular game, Bradley Beal had 20 points, 4 boards, and 6 assists. But KCP had also shot. He had 20 points and he had 2 assists. Spencer Dinwiddie had 10 and 4. Around this time, that's when people started noticing that Spencer Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal were not clicking, as a backcourt. Kuzma had 11 and 10. So, and then also too, Kuzma only had shot 5 for 9. So Kuzma wasn't getting the shot attempts like he's getting as we speak. So with Kuzma getting the shot attempts he's getting now, where he's getting close to 20 shot attempts, I think he's averaging about 18 or 19 shot attempts. That's the reason why you're seeing Kuzma put up the numbers that he's putting up, because when he was getting less than that, he was giving you 11 and 10. Montrezl Harrell with 7 shot attempts in that game had 14 and 5. So the players that we have to look forward to on OKC tonight is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or SGA. He's averaging 21 points a game, 5 assists, but he's not shooting that well from downtown. He's only shooting 27%. And then you have the second-year player, Josh Giddey. Now, he's averaging 11.5 points a game, 6.4 assists a game, but he shoots 27%. Now, let me talk about Josh Giddey, because he's a player whose name I keep seeing in Wizards verse, that the Wizards should have went ahead and drafted him over Denny. Now, when you're looking at his numbers, and I just told you what he's averaging this season, and then if you compare it to with Denny, of course we know that Denny is not putting up those type of numbers. A lot of folks are not satisfied because Denny is averaging 7.2 points a game, and he's averaging 5 boards a game. But Denny is a second-year player. But Denny is not given the opportunity the way Josh Giddey is given. Josh Giddey, OKC is a rebuilding team. They don't have a bunch of veterans on the team, and they're not trying to win now. So it's not fair to compare Denny to a Josh Giddey or to a who's another player whose name I keep seeing being thrown around, Tyrese Halliburton. Like, these guys have more opportunities to develop. Even a guy like Rui Hachimura, where some people are not too happy with drafting him. Rui Hachimura, so far as a Wizard, is averaging 13.6 points a game and 5.7 rebounds a game in 106 regular season games. And some people are not happy with him, but you got to understand the circumstances he's under. Well, he's under a circumstance where he's on a team where we got to win now. So he has a short leash. So when he goes out there and he makes mistakes, he's easily getting pulled and being subbed in by a veteran. First of all, he even had veterans starting over him. So you can't expect him to go out there and perform. So to go back to Denny, it's the same thing with him. Oh, well, we should have drafted this player. We should have drafted that player. Okay, well, what type of situation is the player that you felt that we should have drafted Denny for? What type of situation are they in? Are their team trying to go to the playoffs, or is their team trying to build for the future? If that player is on a team that's trying to build for the future, of course that player is going to look better than Denny. It's the same thing with Mo Wagner's brother playing for Orlando. Orlando is a lottery team. They're not playing to win. So Franz Wagner is going to have more opportunities than, say, Denny or Corey Kisper. These guys are playing on a team where you have quite a few veterans who are over the age of 26 years old, and they're trying to go to the playoffs. They're trying to compete for a play, and so they don't have time to wait for these young players to develop. So that leads me to the next point, which is the whole Jeremy Grant. Now, this narrative has been flying around for about a year. And I'm seeing on Wizards First yesterday, oh, well, we need to trade, Danny and hopefully we can get rid of Davis Bertans and get Jeremy Grant. Why are we so infatuated with Jeremy Grant? What does Jeremy Grant do to this team? Does he really move the needle for this team? I'm going to tell you no. And let me tell you why. In 532 games, 532 regular season games, in his 8 seasons, by the way, this guy has averaged 11.1 points a game and 4 boards a game. He's played on 4 teams, by the way, because he's on his 4th team as we speak. He shot 45.3% from the field. He shoots 34.6 from the 3, and he's a 71% free throw shooter. Now, this is Jeremy Grant's career numbers in 8 seasons. Now I'm going to go. I just went over Rui Hachimura's numbers, and just in case if you missed it, he's averaging as his career 13.6 points, 5.7 rebounds in 2 seasons. Those numbers are actually better than Jeremy Grant. He's shooting better from the field than Jeremy Grant, 47%. Now he doesn't shoot well from the 3-point range. He's only averaging 30% from 3-point range, but he shoots 79% from the free throw line. Seems like we already have our Jeremy Grant, who actually has potential to be better. Let's go to Montrezl Harrell, who's currently on the team. Trez is giving you, or is this Thomas? This might be Thomas Bryant's numbers that I put up here. No, it's Trez. I'm sorry, correction. It's Trez. 13 points, 5 boards, 5.3 rebounds, and 420 regular season games. And he's shooting 61% from the field. So, Wizards First, all you pro Jeremy Grant fans, how does he move the needle for this team? He's not averaging more points than Trez nor Rui Hachimura. So why in the hell are you guys advocating for this guy? What is he going to do? And he's currently injured. And he's on the last year of his contract, where he may be due to make a little bit over $100 million. Do you really want to fork that kind of money in a player who's not really making this team any better? Because him averaging 11.1 points a game, when he comes here, and if he averages that, if not less, what are you going to say then? Oh, you're going to say the same thing you're saying about Spencer Dinwiddie, because there was quite a few of you guys who advocated for Spencer Dinwiddie, and now you want to trade him because he's not putting up the numbers that you were expecting him to put up. So you have these high expectations for Jeremy Grant, and when he disappoints you, then you're going to say, oh, well, we need to move Grant. Well, no, we don't. You should have stuck with what you said. You felt that he was actually going to move the needle, and now that he's not moving the needle, now you want to get rid of him. At this point, we should not be mortgaging the future to bring in another 3rd-tier player that doesn't move the needle. And besides, we have enough forwards as is. We don't need to bring another forward here. I thought the whole purpose was, for most of you guys who are all of a sudden anti-Dinwiddie fans, was to go out and get another point guard, because Spencer Dinwiddie is just not getting the job done. You got to make your mind up. And with this team, this team really has to face the facts that we're just a team that needs to rebuild. A lot of people don't want us to rebuild because they think that the team doesn't know how to rebuild. Well, the team doesn't really know how to build for a contender either. When you're looking at all these other teams that are actually rebuilding, none of them are sitting there saying, well, we're not going to rebuild because we just don't know how to do it. That's kind of like a cop out. So tonight we're playing against OKC. Most likely we'll either win that game or we'll lose that game. I won't be surprised either way. OKC is not a very good team, but we're not a better team than them either. On paper, it would say that we are, but again, I just went over what we did the last time we played them, and we only beat them by 2 points. Some of these bad teams, we're either losing to them or we're barely beating them because we lost to Houston by 3. We lost to Chicago by 1, but Chicago is not a bad team, and we lost to them on the first. And we beat Charlotte. We beat them by 3. We just barely beat them. Like lately, we're not blowing a lot of teams away. We're just barely beating some of these teams. So I'm going to sign off. I definitely want to thank you guys for joining me on DC Hoopla. Look out for me and my main man, D-Can, on State of the Wizards. You guys have a good one.